So from those 4 words with the question mark and the sir, you're probably, because this is what human beings do, you're probably trying to work out a possible context where that makes sense. I'm now going to tell you a bit more about the context. It was January, and it was the checkout at Saver Centre Cameron Toll, and it was the assistant who was checking through my goods who asked the question, "What is game, sir?" Now, I understood this to mean something like, "What's your game?" So I thought I had probably done something wrong, but that didn't seem to fit in with the sir. So now a bit more context. The assistant was Indian, and I could tell that by the name on his label. And so I said, "Pardon?" And he then said the same thing, but this time he added the adjective British. "What is British game, sir?" Now at this point I know that schematic knowledge about British colonial history kicked in, the Great Game, etc. So maybe he was asking me to comment on the Raj. So in the way that you do, I said, "I'm sorry, I don't understand." And this time he raised his eyebrows, jutted out his chin towards my shopping and said, "What is British game, sir?" And at that point I remembered that one of the items I had bought was a casserole mix labelled British game. So I was then able to answer his question, say rabbit, pheasant, venison, that sort of thing, and he was very grateful for me informing him what it was he'd just put through the checkout. Now, the whole process, I hope, took only about 2 or 3 seconds, but I think it's a very good example of the routes that we take when we're trying to make sense of what somebody has told us. So we rarely go directly from our background knowledge to comprehension. We use the context and language and our background knowledge. We shuttle backwards and forwards, so to speak, between the different sources, and we try to make sense. We're not normally aware of the routes we take unless there's some sort of obstacle, such as it being in a foreign language, that makes us conscious of the decisions that we're making. And to communicate at normal speed, we have to do this in parallel and quickly. Now, when we're listening to a foreign language, there's a tendency, particularly at the lower levels of competence in the language, to over-rely on language, on the bottom level. Here's an example from my learning of Spanish. So I was in Spain, in Asturias, and I was watching a TV program, a news program, male newsreader. Behind him, there was the photograph of a young woman. And he announced her as